Hi everybody. So, Vigor. That's the gameplay you're seeing in the background. And most importantly, you're seeing Vigor at 60 frames a second. Now, this bit of a stealth update to the looter shooter from the people behind DayZ, Bohemia Interactive, apparently came in near the end of August. But I didn't notice it, or if I did read the patch notes, I didn't realise that, I think it says something like updates for next-gen console. I didn't realise that meant 60 frames a second for next-gen consoles. But I was going through the Xbox store, and I think that they had a section that says something like optimised for Series S and Series X. And I saw Vigor in it, and I thought, nah, Vigor isn't optimised for next-gen. Vigor, for some crazy reason, runs at 30 frames a second. And in fact, I had read something from one of the devs behind Vigor saying they didn't want to change it to 60 frames a second on next gen because they didn't want to give next gen console owners an advantage over last gen. And when that happened, I kind of uninstalled it from my Series S because I was like, well, one of the reasons why you want to play on next gen is because you want 60 frames a second at 1080p, kind of as a minimum. You know, something has to be exceptional for you not to have that. So, for example, Microsoft Flight Simulator is 1080p, 30 frames a second on the Series S and the Series X, but that's fine because of what it also offers. But in a shooter, you want that 60 frames a second. You know, we have it with PUBG, we have it in DayZ, we have it in Call of Duty, we have it in Battlefield. It should have been in Vigor, but it wasn't. But now it is, and oh my gosh, does the game look beautiful. It changes it completely. Now, the difference with Vigor compared to something like, compared to DayZ, is that they are in different engines. DayZ is in Bohemia Interactive's own engine, whereas Vigor is in Unreal Engine. So they do have a bit of a different look, but they have a similar vibe to them. And if you didn't know already, Vigor is a looter shooter very much on the same theme as something like Escape from Tarkov. You may well have heard that. You may have even played it. I've got it, but it's a bit of a challenge. So the idea is that it's in post-nuclear apocalyptic Norway or Scandinavia. So the idea is that there's been a nuclear war. You've escaped to the north into Scandinavia, and you have your little base. And then when you want to go out looting, you go and do these encounters where you load into a map with other survivors, and you either play by yourself or as a squad, and you go around looting up. You shoot the other survivors. There's a plane that will drop a supply drop with good loot in it at some point, and then the radiation comes in from one side or the other, and you've got to find your way to an exit and then escape. And if you escape, you take your loot with you. If you die, you leave your loot behind. But you don't lose everything because you've got the stuff at your base. Then you go back to your base and you upgrade your base. You know, you have resource creators. You can do it up so it looks better. You can have different skins, all this sort of stuff. And that's kind of the gameplay loop. And you can either go into these encounters, or there's like a free-for-all version, or there's a team deathmatch version as well. But the big problem with it previously was that it was 30 frames a second, which is a bit jarring when you're used to 60. But now, at 60 frames a second, all of a sudden I am much more interested in playing Vigor. The idea behind these looter shooters is a pretty cool one. And Escape from Tarkov, I guess, is the daddy of these sorts of games. The idea of having, you have your base, and then you take what you want to into an encounter, and you're risking those items. So you've got to think, well, do I take my best guns? Do I take my two best guns and a load of ammunition to this encounter, knowing that if you get killed, you will leave them behind? Or do you take something like just a shotgun and a pistol? Because you know that if you get killed, it doesn't really matter. When you're in the map, do you risk getting into the dangerous encounters for the high loot near the airdrop, or do you just go and get some consumables and then exit well before the radiation comes in? The way you play is totally up to you. Do you go to the high pop parts of the map, or do you maybe, camp the exits to shoot people as they come through? Totally up to you. Very, very interesting, and very, very tactical and strategic, and all the more better at 60 frames a second. So what I'll do is I'll leave the gameplay running so you can appreciate. I'd recommend you play this full screen, high resolution, to get an idea. And Vigor is a free-to-play game, so you can download it and you can give it a go yourself. And I would just say definitely check it out. It's very interesting. Definitely has a DayZ vibe, but without the all or nothing version you get from DayZ. And trust me, you don't have to worry about starving to death in this game like in DayZ. This game is just about looting and shooting. Anyway, that's enough from me. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below. If you've enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And I will, of course, see you again soon.
plane is incoming. Beware of the drop zone. It will be dangerous. Radiation is coming. Better run to the nearest exit.
Ah!